Hi guys, it's April and I'm almost ready. I always get a little thrown off when I start these streams earlier than normal because my brain is still in the schedule mode that I normally do all of this. So give me a quick second so I can make sure that everybody knows that I have gone live. Because I haven't got a chance to do that yet. That and the caffeine hasn't kicked in yet. Hello, welcome. I'm just getting set up. And I do have something exciting to show you guys. So as soon as I get, oh my goodness. All of this set up, I will get started. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but for my day job, I do usability work. So I have all kinds of usability modes set up on my phone sometimes. And sometimes it gets in my way, not gonna lie. So sorry if I am slow right now. Almost there, on the last one. And then we'll get started. It's gonna be a shorter stream today. I don't think I can do more than a half hour. But there isn't a whole lot that really needs to be done yet. So we might just get really close to getting this finished. Hello, welcome. We've got lots of people in the chat today. Love it. Okay, so what I have done here is I've pulled out my reds and all of my grays because right now what I am thinking is for a lot of these remaining pieces, I know there's some red on these cranes, and then there's some red elements that I think I want to hit on her outfit and some of these cords. And the rest of it is probably going to lean into the gray spectrum because I think I want to leave a good kind of white, maybe iridescent kind of quality to her outfit. And this rabbit, it has to be a white rabbit. It just makes sense. But that also leaves me thinking about, well, what am I going to do for the background? Because if I'm going to leave so much white in this piece, I don't know if I want to leave too much of this as a white background. So the next session, I might actually be trying to figure out what the background is. But for now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, not a lot. And I've got this scarlet. This is a Holbein scarlet. It is number 44 that I'm going to hit a couple spots with. So the top of a lot of the, I don't know what variety of crane it is, but it's, guess what? It's called a red crown crane, and it's found in Asia. And I think that's what this is. So we're just going to do the top of his head in the red color. And then the rest of the crane is black and white. So I'll come back with my grays and hit the birds. But I want to come over here and I want to hit these cords. And I'm not gonna do any kind of fancy shading work with these. I think I'm just gonna do straight red because they're so thin. I think I would just be wasting a lot of time trying to overcomplicate it. This is going to be complicated enough trying to stay within the lines. Hello, welcome. Oh, so you did a gold moon too. I love it. Uh-oh. Something exciting is going on my phone. Give me a second. Okay. See if I can. I might have to constantly be sharpening this so I can get these chords done. I think I might do some of the lining in red, but I haven't decided. Mostly because at this point the piece is leaning so far into like just reds and grays. I don't know if I want to introduce a completely new color. And I like the fact that we have just pops of gold. Okay. And then I can also touch up some of the spots where I got a little too heavy-handed with the gold paint. Kind of like how that makes the chords pop against the moon a little bit. Oh, I'm sure it doesn't look as bad as you think it does. We're always the worst critics of our own work. Jeff can tell you how I sometimes spiral about what I did. And honestly, I do like how the moon turned out, but that isn't the original idea I had in my brain. But it is kind of fun, the different colors that ended up showing up. Oops. What I mean? Staying in the lines. I might bring some gold into the lantern that she's carrying. I almost want to add a little more gold to her somewhere. I'm gonna grab, I think the 535, which is the cool gray 5. Here, just a little bit of shading. I did get some gold up in her hairpiece. You can't really tell on camera. But I'm wondering if I should sneak in some gold. Maybe some of the embroidery on her outfit. Maybe we should bring some gold in there. Because we're going to do some of the, not necessarily embroidery, but some of the pattern work on the lantern. I think I want to do in gold. It might be interesting if we do the same thing with her outfit. Probably should have looked up a few references of lanterns before I get too far. real question is, what am I gonna do for color of the potion bottle? I could bring in that smoke blue. That might be nice here. You guys are seeing my inner thoughts today because I have no plan, rhyme, or reason to what I am doing. Like none. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And so the smoke blue is the 379 in the Holbein. Yeah, see that's kind of what I was thinking. We can bring that gold into like maybe even into the foliage of the flowers and then the edging of the pattern to kind of separate it a little bit from the rest of the dress. I think that might be pretty. And I think that is a little bit of where I'm leaning right now. Oh, I forgot. I got too into what we're going to do here. This is 275. So this is the dark. I got too into what I was doing. But I forgot to show you my funness that showed up yesterday. And yes, that is the technical term for it. Stand by what I said. My starry colors came yesterday. So we have a chance to play with some even more really sparkly watercolors, and I'm kind of excited about it. I've got a little bit of depth there. Kind of blends in a little bit. We might be able to play with that a little bit more, but it's a good place to kind of leave that for a base. But since I have the 275, which is the warm gray 6, and the darkest color I've used on this piece so far, I'm going to go in and color in the crane's legs because they have black feet. Holy cow, a half hour goes quick. I think they have gray beaks, so I'll grab one of the grays for the beak. I can't tell from the photos. But it looks like a lot of these black back feathers are black as well. for his beak, maybe we might want to do the warm gray 5, the 525 that we were using. Yeah. And then I'm going to come back through with the 532. Hopefully I pulled that out. Yes. This is the cool gray 2. And I'm going to use this to very lightly add some shading, because this is a mostly white bird. Need to do, get some of that red out of those wings. Might have to pull out a white at some point and see if I can fade out where my coloring wasn't quite the greatest. That's kind of the start of him. I'm going to pull out that gold, oops, that I had. So a lot of places I've just been using this gold fig marker. I think that's what I'm going to attempt down here. So instead of introducing, say, a green or something else for the foliage of the embroidery, I'm going to do it all in this gold. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the edging. And I think it works because it's almost a green tone to this gold, but we're also doing it without adding a new color to the piece. So we're keeping it to this very simple color palette. I'm pretty much applying no pressure with this marker because the spots are so small. And this is the moment where I start to go cross-eyed. Trying to do all the fine detail. Okay. Now we see how steady of a hand I have, which is not at all. I have to do some twisting of the picture here. I need to remember to breathe. The tendency to hold my breath when I'm doing small areas like this. Oh, losing sunshine. Kind of liking that so far. I think if we choose the right background for that, the finer edge of this bottom part. I don't know what that is yet. But right now my brain is glad we went with the gold. Oops. I'm sorry if I knocked the camera with my head. Clouds are just causing all kinds of havoc with my lighting today. Okay. I want to do some of the same stuff up here. I mean, honestly, it doesn't look too bad. Just the white background. But I'll be honest with you, I feel like I'm leaving too much white in this piece right now. But maybe I should. And then color in the background and see how the balance feels when I do just leave a lot of her outfit white. But it's trying to decide what to do with the background. Because I almost want to do something a little artistic and not like full solid color. But how do I achieve that without ruining the image on the back side is what I have to think about a little bit. Is the 275. I said I was only going to do this for a half hour. And here we are. What, 40 minutes in? Honestly, the worst at that sometimes. I get into coloring and I don't want to stop. But I need to. Right now I am using a combination of the 275 Polychromos, which is my darkest gray, and the 44 Holbein, which is that red. Because I did that jewel piece in the gold. Doing the rest of her hair piece in more of a reddish tone. Kind of slipped from the realm of realistic to, this kind of looks good. It's how my reality is now working. Okay, I need to stop. I don't have any more time to do this, as much as I wish I did. Okay. That is where I'm going to have to stop today. I really wish I had more time that I could hang out with you guys. But I did go 10 minutes longer than I was supposed to. So, next time, I'm hoping I have some ideas for what I want to do with the background. I'm playing back and forth between using some of the granulating watercolor that I have, or attempting to use some of the water-based markers I have, kind of like watercolors, and giving it more of a painterly quality. Because like I'm using for my reference point, using some of those blacks and those grays and trying to give it more of a fluid look. I could achieve that with colored pencils. It would just take a really long time. And I'm not sure I want to put that kind of time into this right now. And like I said, I don't know how much water this can actually handle, and I don't want to ruin the image on the back. But if I do manage to get that kind of look, I know it has been mentioned in the past that these watercolor sets, they have more of a charcoaly set. I don't know if I'd be able to get some of those here in time. I could look into that. I might be able to use those. But then we can maybe scatter some gold in the back as stars and other things. And that may make her white dress pop a little bit more, because I am leaning more and more into just leaving some of those colors. But I would love to know your guys' ideas and what you think I should attempt to use on this piece. I'm hoping to be back next weekend, possibly finishing this one up. And then we'll have to figure out what piece we want to do next. And I'll definitely let you guys know when I'll be able to jump in and do that. I'll set a reminder up on my channel. So if you want to subscribe, you can notify me when I go live. Otherwise, as always, I like to post on all of my socials that I'm live, so you can see that notification pretty much on any of them. But you guys were amazing today. We had quite an audience, and I loved seeing all of you guys in the chat, seeing some new names and new faces. So, welcome. I'm sorry it wasn't one of my longer streams. It's just a holiday weekend, and we've got to run off and do some things. But I do hope that all of you guys have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your weekend. And I hope your following week is just as wonderful and beautiful. Do hope I will see you guys again next time in our Heart's Beautiful Faces. Bye.